We have read about the Tzitz in yesterday's parsha. We will read about it again in Hashem Parshas Pekudei. And
swallowed up by Daniel.
That's it, exactly. And there's a fascinating halachic discussion which is relevant every single day of our lives that comes from the Tzitz. Let's join me in number 1 on the top right-hand side. Let's begin. This is a Gemara in Shabbos, Daf Yud Beis. It seems to be a very innocent Gemara, pretty straightforward. Tani Dvei Rabbi Shmuel, said Rabbi Shmuel's yeshiva. Yotzei Adam b'Tefillin be'erev Shabbos im chashech. One is allowed to walk out with Tefillin Friday afternoon right before it gets dark into the street. The Gemara there is talking the certain activities one should not do Friday afternoon right before Shabbos because he will most probably continue into Shabbos. So the shaila is if you Tefillin we don't wear Shabbos. We paskin la'alacha that minat Torah there's no mitzvah, right? We hold Tefillin as a time-bound mitzvah. There's a debate between the Tanoim why it's time-bound. Rabbi Yossi Aglili versus Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Yossi Aglili says because the mitzvah doesn't apply at night minat Torah. The Rambam goes like that. Almost everybody else paskins like Rabbi Akiva that minat Torah Tefillin applies at night. It's Shabbos and Yom Tov that it doesn't apply because Tefillin is a sign. Shabbos and Yom Tov is already a sign. It happens to be Rabbi Meir holds Tefillin minat Torah applies Shabbos, Yom Tov and night. According to Rabbi Meir, Tefillin is not bound by time. Somebody once asked me that they heard that Bruria, Rabbi Meir's wife, wore Tefillin. And that Rashi's daughters wore Tefillin. So for Rashi's daughters, never found any source. Neither for Rabbi Meir's wife, Bruria, there's no source. And I was wondering, where did this notion come from? So some say because Rabbi Meir holds in Gemara that Tefillin is not bound by time, which means women are chayiv, so most probably he got his wife to wear Tefillin. The problem is his wife was a big scholar. She may not have agreed with him on that. We don't know what she held. Just because her husband held it, we learned like last week, right, that the wife is not the judge of the husband, but also goes the other way around, right? We saw the Neibu that says the wife has no right to start taking credit cards to make him do tzedakah, but it goes the other way around too. Anyhow, so the shaila is Friday afternoon you're wearing tefillin. We don't want you to wear them on Shabbos. But Rabbi Shmuel says if it's Friday afternoon and you're walking into the street, it's okay. We're not worried you'll continue to wear them when Shabbos comes in. So the Gemara says, my time of why? The Gemara says, Kivan, since the Amar Rabba bar Avhuna gave a halacha. And this halacha is brought in Rambam, in everywhere, in every Jewish code. Chayiv Adam lemashmish betfillin kol shah v'shah. One needs to fiddle around with his tefillin every kol shah v'shah.
All the time. Right,
all the time. It's some actually seem to say it's mamish all the time. Others say it means periodically. But either way, kal v'chayim mitzitz. He learns it out from the tzitz. Ma the tzitz she'ein boy elas karachas. The tzitz has only one name of Hashem. It said kodesh la Hashem on the tzitz. A machlekes if it was over one line or 2 lines, Hashem. But it said yud kei vav kei.
First Hashem's name, then kodesh. That's what it said.
By a kodesh, okay. So the shaila is the tzitz only has one name of Hashem. Amar Torah, the Torah said, v'hoya al mitzchay tamid. It says it should be constantly on his head. What does it mean constantly on his head? He doesn't sleep. He doesn't go to the bathroom. We're going to see that's how the Gemara words it in Yuma. How could the Torah say that? How could the pasuk state that the tzitz will be on the Kohen Gadol's head tamid constantly? What it means is that while he's wearing it, he needs to be constantly aware. What it means is, not that he wears it 24/7, but when he wears it, he needs to be constantly aware. He cannot get distracted from the tzitz. So Tefillin, sheyesh ben azkaras harbe, Tefillin has 21 names of the Yud Kei Vav Kei in the Yad, and the same amount in the head. It's the same parshas. It's 42 times the name of Yud Kei Vav Kei. Al achas kam, how much more so? So that's the din of Rabba bar Avhuna. So what's the Gemara saying in Shabbos? Since you can't have to fidget with your tefillin, so if it's Friday, 20 minutes before Shabbos, and you're walking out into the street with tefillin, we're not worried you'll continue to wear it on Shabbos, because since you can't forget about them, okay, hilkach, therefore, midker docher, you will remember them. That's the piece of Gemara in Shabbos. So the Gemara seems to be saying unequivocally that we paskin like this din of Rabba bar Rav Huna. We make this kal v'chomer from the tzitz. If the tzitz you can't get distracted from, which is learned from the pasuk Tamid, and the tzitz only has one name of Hashem. Shtel sich vor. Imagine your tefillin. Imagine tefillin 42. Fine. The Gemara seems to be quite innocent. However, if you look at number 2, the Gemara in Yuma, Daf Zayin, stretches out this discussion, and more details are found there. The Gemara starts off like this. There's a debate between Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Shimon what the word Tamid actually means. When it says the tzitz has to be Tamid, what does it mean? Rabbi Shimon says, you know what it means? That whether the kohen's wearing it or not, the tzitz atones. It atones. It atones for bringing sacrifices in a state of tumah. If it was done, if sacrifices were brought in a state of impurity, the tzitz atones. So Rabbi Shimon says, Tamid means whether he's wearing it, whether he's not wearing it, the tzitz always is mechaper. And Rabbi Yehuda is the one who says no. Rabbi Yehuda says no, only when you wear the tzitz does it work. What does Tamid mean? That you can't space out. In other words, what we saw in number 1 is really only the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda. So look at number 2. Says the Gemara like this. Rabbi Yehuda Sava, Rabbi Yehuda holds Al Metzach V'Nasa, when it's on his forehead, it atones. Not always. Rabbi Shimon Savar Tamid L'Ratzon L'Fnei Hashem. Rabbi Shimon says no. The word Tamid is juxtaposed L'Ratzon L'Fnei Hashem, means that the tzitz is always atoning. So Rabbi Shimon says Tamid means it always atones, whether he wears it, whether he doesn't. It could be sitting on the hook while he's sleeping, right? If he takes it doesn't matter. And he's sleeping during the day, and a kohen does an avodah accidentally in tumah. Nah, it works. Rabbi Yehuda says no. Al meitzach v'nasa, when he's wearing, not always. So the Gemara continues. My Tamid. Rabbi Shimon says, what does Tamid mean? Ilema Tamid al mitzcha. Do you think it means it's always on his head? What do you mean? Mi mishkachas lo, is that true? Mi loy boy me'el beis hakisei, he goes to the bathroom, he takes it off. Mi loy boy doesn't need a rest? Elo Tamid meratzuhu. Rabbi Shimon says, no, the word Tamid, he doesn't wear it all the time. It's not factual. Tamid means it always atones. Rabbi Yehuda says no. Rabbi Yehuda says it only atones if he's wearing it. So the Gemara asks Rabbi Yehuda, Nami haksiv tam, what does he do with Tamid? He says Tamid means you always have to be cognizant of it. Hahu Tamid shalai asich daitu mimena, not to space out. Tamid means when you wear it, you always have to be cognizant of the fact. Rabba bar Rav Huna, he goes with Rabba the Amar. The Amar Rabba bar Rav Huna, and this is the same thing we saw in number 1. Chayev Adam lamashmash betfilah b'chol shah v'shah. One needs to fiddle, feel his tefillin all the time or every so often. Kal v'chomer mit tzitz, a kal v'chomer from the tzitz. Umat tzitz she'ein boy ela azkara achas. Tzitz only has one name of the Yud Kei Vav Kei. Amr to the Torah says al mitzchay tamid, always on his forehead. And according to Rabbi Yehuda, that means shelo yasir daitu mimenu, you can't space out. Tefillin sheyesh ben azkaras har belachas kam v'kam. So it comes out from number 2 that this din of Rabba bar Rav Huna is actually only the shit of Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Shimon.
He didn't have to adjust the tzitz. He just made him aware.
Right, good question. That's right. So the question is, whenever we have a kal v'chomer, you can only apply to the more serious case what you find by the more lenient. You can extrapolate to say whatever applied there should apply here. You can't go overboard. You don't have the right to apply more. In the case of the tzitz, you can't space out. But was there a din that he had to fidget around with it? It seems like we're extrapolating to tefillin and we're going overboard. Not only you can't be distracted by tefillin, but you have a chiyuv to constantly feel it. Did the kohen gadol have a chiyuv for that? I've seen people ask it, and
Not that we've seen.
right, no, he didn't. He didn't.
Even make
He
it
didn't.
halacha. It's the kohen gadol.
Right.
Okay, hold on. Wait. We're going to see the major debate between Rambam and Tosfos as if this kal v'chomer is real. But hold on, in number 2, though, you see there's only Rabbi Yehuda. It all depends on how you learn the word Tamid. Rabbi Shimon says the word Tamid means It's always meratze. Tamid l'ratzon lifnei Hashem. It always atones for any service which was done in a state of tumah. It's Rabbi Yehuda who says, no, it only atones while he's wearing it. So he has a problem with the word tamid. To say tamid means he wears it all day, that's rubbish. He goes to the... To say tamid means it always atones, he doesn't hold that. So he needs tamid for something else, which is, you can't be masiach tas. And then once you know that by the tzitz comes Rabba Baravun and extrapolates to Tefillin. According to Rabbi Shimon, it probably doesn't even apply by the tzitz. A Kohen Gadol is allowed to get distracted from the choshen. There's no such din, right? It's not like his... So, it seems like according to Rabbi Shimon, the din doesn't apply by the tzitz. There's no source for it. So the issues like this, I'll just tell you, this is just in brackets, but because we're mentioning this, I have to mention the following issue. That the Gemara there is talking, when a Kohen Gadol on Yom Kippur goes into the Kodesh Kodashim, or any of the service he does for the day, even if he was Tameh, the service is going to be foolproof. Because, it says that for 7 days before Yom Kippur, we would separate him from his wife. He shouldn't have any keri. So the Gemara discusses maybe he'll get in touch with the dead body or something. He could still become tamei for that. So the Gemara says no. That tumah is not going to disturb. That tumah won't disturb what he does on the day of Yom Kippur. And the Gemara says why. So the Gemara says it depends if you go like Rabbi Shimon or Rabbi Yehuda. If you go like Rabbi Shimon, the tzitz will protect. When he goes in on Yom Kippur with the Torahs into the Kodesh Kodashim, he's not wearing the tzitz. He's wearing his white clothes. Mm-hmm. But Rabbi Shimon says the tzitz, so you don't have to wear it. The tzitz always covers you. But according to Rabbi Yehuda, you have to wear the tzitz to cover you in order for it to work. And when the Kohen Gadol goes in with that incense to Torahs, he's not wearing the tzitz. So Rabbi Yehuda says, I hold Tuma Hutra B'tzibur. Rabbi Yehuda says that when it comes to a communal obligation, Tumas Meis, Tuma from a dead body, is Hutra, is not a problem at all. It's not a problem at all. If the Kohen is Tameh, if the people are Tameh, Tuma from corpse Tuma, when it comes to a communal carbon, is a non-issue. Tuma Hutra B'tzibur. Rabbi Shimon disagrees and says Tuma D'chuya B'tzibur. Rabbi Shimon says corpse Tuma is overruled by the communal, but it's not completely allowed. In other words, it's an issue which we override. Rabbi Yehuda said it's a non-issue at all. It's a very important debate. Let me just say again that according to Rabbi Shimon, there's an issue, and so it needs to be rectified. But the magnitude of the carbon overrides the fact that the
carbon is good.
Yeah, but it needs to be rectified somehow. But according to Rabbi Yehuda, it's completely hutra. So let's just get this cheshbon clear for a second. Rabbi Yehuda, who says tamid is only while the guy wears it, right? Tamid means he can't space out, which means when the Kohen Gadol goes into the Kodesh Kodashim with the Ketores, he's not wearing the tzitz. It's not going to work. If he's taka tameh, the tzitz won't work, because the tzitz only works while you're wearing it. So Rabbi Yehuda therefore has to say, corpse tum is a non-issue by communal it's a non-issue. It doesn't even, it's hutra, it's completely mutter. But Rabbi Shimon says no. Rabbi Shimon holds that communal karbonos push away tumah, but it's duchuy, it's doiche. It overrules it. It's still tumah, but it overrules it. So according to Rabbi Shimon, so that means when the Kohen Gadol goes in on the Kodesh Kodashim, if he's tamei, there's still an issue here. There's no issue, because the tzitz will cover him. The tzitz removes that issue. He's not wearing it. Rabbi Shimon holds you don't have to wear it. That's how the Gemara sets up the whole discussion. The major issue is the Rambam is inconsistent. The Rambam has a major contradiction, and this is actually not the Rambam I'm going to talk about in Shir, but I have to mention it, because for the last 700 years, every single commentator and their great nephew and their second cousin talks about it as well. Every single person discusses one of the most famous contradictions of the Rambam is the Rambam brings this din by Tefillin you can't space out. The Rambam apaskins by the tzitz you can't space out. The Rambam says the word tamid means, like Rabbi Yehuda, that you have to be constantly aware. The Rambam holds that tzitz doesn't work if you're not wearing it, like all the way Rabbi Yehuda. The Rambam holds Tamid doesn't mean that tzitz always works. No, only if you're wearing it. And yet when it comes to the general discussion if Tumah is overruled or it's completely mutter, he goes like Rab Shimon, that it's only overruled. Which means according to the Rambam, what's going to happen when the Kohen Gadol goes in on Yom Kippur into the Kodesh Kodashim, if there is corpse Tumah there, he holds on the one hand like Rab Shimon that the Tumah is only overruled. It's still there, it's a problem, but there's no way to rectify it because the Rambam holds like Rabbi Yehuda that the tzitz only works when you're wearing it. Rabbi Shimon said it's not a problem that the tumah was only overruled because he holds that tzitz always works. It always atones. Rabbi Yehuda said the tzitz doesn't atone, but he holds the tumah is completely mutter. The Rambam is in the... So it's there's a long Shagas Aryeh. If your head's not hurting yet, you can have a look at the long Shagas Aryeh. Rabbi Yosef Kaira discusses it, the Radvaz, every single commentary on the Rambam is discussing why the Rambam did that and how it makes sense anyhow. But I'm just...
There's no sikha on it?
I don't think so. But it's one of the famous contradictions of the Rambam. But when you learn, I had to mention it because when we're learning this Gemara, you have to mention... Anyhow, fine. But the issue that we're discussing is not that. The fact is, Rabba bar Avuna gave a statement. If you can't space out from the tzitz, how much more so the tefillin? Okay. Comes Tosfos in number 5. Join me number 5. Famous Tosfos in Yuma says, this whole Kal V'chomer doesn't make sense. Uma tzitz, he says in number 5, Ma tzitz she'ein boi elas kara'achas, one mention of God. Teimoli, doesn't make sense to me. Lifrach, why doesn't the Gemara say, hold your horses? Tzitz shekein Hashem hu begolui. By tzitz, the name's on the outside. By tefillin, it's concealed. You can't compare the two. Toimer b'tefillin, you want to extrapolate the tefillin, they are machup in they're covered in leather. Tosfos says, there's a rule by Kal V'chomers. The moment you can find some stringency in the case you're learning from, then all bets are off. The whole limud is off, right? You know, if the thin guy eats 3 pieces of pizza, the big guy for sure is going to eat 3. What if you find out the thin guy didn't eat for 2 days? Then all you can't start learning one from the other. So Tosfos says, wait, hold on. Tefillin does have Hashem's name on the outside. There's a shin on the shel Rosh. There is a dalet in the back of the shel Rosh, and there's a yud. So that's shin dalet yud. Ve'ein l'taretz. Don't tell me. Dahacha namik siv shakai b'tefillin. It says shakai in the tefillin. B'kmotin, in the creases. That means the creases of the shel Rosh. We have the shin. So maybe tefillin has the Abish's name on the outside. It says Tosfos that don't sell many election. Chada, one issue I have, ein zek sav gomer. That's not written. Now, what does he mean? What does he mean it's not written? He doesn't mean there's no ink. What he means is the davka shin shel tefillin halacha l'Moshe misinai. Tosfos says the Abisha told Moshe and Har Sinai many details about the tefillin. The color of the straps, the side that the boxes have to be square, all these things. He also told him there needs to be a shin on the tefillin. But not Dalet v'Yud lo. He says, Tosfos, the Dalet and Yud was a later invention from the Chachamim. So the whole name Shin Dalet Yud is not a biblical idea. Once the Chacham said the Dalet and the Yud, you have the name Shin Dalet Yud. But Minat Torah, biblically, you don't even need that. If you don't have the Dalet and Yud, your tefillin are kosher biblically. So biblically, there's no name of Hashem. Va'oid in addition, but tzitz ikashem amayuchad. Even if you have your shakai, you can't compare shin dalad yud to the yud kevavke. The yud kevavke shem hamayuchad is the special name. It's called the shem ha'etzem, the essential name. Ben dalad oisi is 4 letters. The chamrit fades. It's the most serious of all the names of Hashem. So therefore, says Tosfos, v'nirali, it seems to me the eina kal v'chomer d'oraisa. It's not a kal v'chomer gomer minat Torah. Meaning like this. A real Kal V'chomer has biblical status. In fact, actually, relating to this week's parsha, so I'm going to say this. The Gemara says there were 3 things Moshe Rabenu did on his own, and God agreed. One of them was Moshe broke the luchos. Why did he break the luchos? So there's many answers in Chazal, but the Gemara in Shabbos says Moshe made a Kal V'chomer. that I remember by the Korban Pesach, Hashem told me, if a ben necher, someone who's a non-believer, shouldn't partake of the Korban Pesach. Here, all the Yidden have become non-believers, and here it's not about the Korban Pesach, it's 613 mitzvahs. Even though he's only holding the luchas, but all 613 mitzvahs are represented. We had a share about that once. So he broke it. So Tosfos asks, wait a second. The Gemara says Moshe did it on his own and God agreed. Moshe didn't do it on his own. He had a kal v'chomer. A kal v'chomer is a biblical method of exegesis. The Eibush gave the Torah with a way to decipher the Torah. When you use those tools to decipher, it has biblical meaning. It's biblical status. Right. So Tosfos asks, if it's a kal v'chomer, then it's biblical. Moshe didn't make this up on his own. This is the will of the Torah. It's God's will. So Tosfos says it's a bad kal v'chomer. You know what Tosfos says? Because you're dealing with the whole Torah over here, if you want the Jews to repent, you got to give them the luchas. By the Korban Pesach, you penalize someone. You're a ben necher, you don't believe, no Korban Pesach for you. But here you have the entire nation. You're upset with their actions. If you want them to ever change, you got to give them the luchas. If you don't give them the luchas, they'll never change. Because here you're dealing with the entire Torah. This is their only hope that they'll ever change their actions. That's what Tosfos says. So since it's not a full kal v'chomer, so therefore Moshe did this on his own. Anyhow, so says Tosfos over here as well. This kal v'chomer of Rav Huna is not a real kal v'chomer, because the tzitz has an up. The name is on the outside. Maybe that's why you can't space out. You can't extrapolate the tefillin where it's covered. Ela midrabanan. It's only a din d'Rabbanan. According to Tosfos, getting distracted in tefillin is a rabbinic issue. Even if the tzitz is biblical, like Rabbi Yehuda, but to learn out to tefillin, you can't. Tzitz is on the outside. It's only the Rabbanon. V'hachi kamar. And what the Gemara means is like this. What Rabba bar Avuna meant is like this. Nihi, it's true, Nami, it's taka true. De'ika chumra tfei b'tzitz. It's true. The tzitz has an up because the name is external. Kudim afarish, like I explained. Mikol makom, nonetheless, Kivan de'ika b'tfilin sad chashivas tfei. The fact is, tefillin has 42 names of the kevavke. So yesh ben askar. So it's a svara. So the Chachamim felt, come on. Yeah, we can't prove it. We can't enforce on a biblical level that tefillin is the same as the tzitz, because the names are covered. But the fact is, it has 42 names. It's logical that due to respect for that, shemin adin, the Chachamim should be masakin to make a takana l'mashmash ben kol shah, to fidget around with them, not to space out. That's Tosfos' opinion. I will tell you, look at the Rambam next to it on number 6. The Rambam seems to disagree. The Rambam seems to learn, no, it's a full-fledged kal v'chomer. Look at the Rambam in number 6. Chayev adam l'mashmish b'tfilin calls man shehem olav. The Rambam says you're chayev to fill your tefillin, calls man the entire time they're on you. So the Rambam learned it's literal every moment. I learned in Yerushalayim as a bocher, in Yeshiva Torah Emes, and one of the Hanhola members, Rabbi Pevsner, is now a chief rabbi of France. A brilliant mind in Nigla and Chassidus and everything. Mamash, something unique. Anyhow, he was once observing me when I was davening. I was leaning my head onto my hand, holding my tefillin. So he calls me over after and he says, why are you always touching your tefillin? So I said, what do you mean? You have to mashmish b'chol shah v'shah. He said, doesn't mean the whole time.
Rambam.
The Rambam says, calls man shehem olav the whole time. So I told him, it depends. It depends. The whole reason is that you shouldn't space out. Maybe for someone like you, you don't need always. Someone like me, I need to always feel this. I don't space out. It depends. No, so I would tell you it depends. No, you have to zilbosher time. And what's the reason?
But if you keep holding it the whole time, then you will.
Space out a whole
We don't have enough.
So first you tap it on one side and the other side, and then you fidget. You fidget. Anyhow. Says the Rambam, calls man shehem olav. The whole time it's on you. The Rambam doesn't mean either every second. He means while they're on you every so often. Shelo yasir daitumim. In order you shouldn't be masir das even one moment. The one moment is not on the mamashmish. The one moment is going. You shouldn't distract yourself. In order you shouldn't distract yourself. So then every so often you got to feel it. Shekdushasan gedoyle mikdushas hatzitz. Tefillin is greater than the tzitz, hands down. Tzitz ein by Shem echad, one name of Hashem. These have echad ve'esrim shem shel yud kei b'shel rosh. There's 21 in the shel rosh. U'kamois in the same amount b'shel yad. End of the halacha. The Rambam says it's a fact. The Rambam writes it's a full-fledged limud. It's a full-fledged limud. So we have a debate between Rambam and Tosfos. Fine, it seems like it's a debate between Rambam and Tosfos. So what we want to figure out is how will the Rambam answer Tosfos' problem, the fact that by the tzitz, the name is on the outside.
Could you also make a bit of a nafkamira between this man, tomorrow, a lot of people watch film all day. So if you do things all day, so it becomes kind of mundane. So you're missing the element of Kedusha. But we were for half an hour, so we're all, constantly...
Right. So the truth...
You're a good man.
Yes, yeah, no. That's a great point. I will mention, there's a well-known simon of the Shagas Aryeh, where he deals with what he feels is a big debate between the Ramban versus the Rosh. The Rosh holds, what does it mean, B'chlal Hesech Hadas? What does it mean to be distracted? You have to think about tefillin the whole time?
In a way,
you daven, you learn, you daven, you give tzedakah, but you don't... You're not thinking about the tefillin, exactly.
But also if you're starting to worry,
you do a mitzvah, exactly.
Exactly. You're not actually thinking about
right, exactly.
Sheamar.
Not just that.
Right.
By Shemona Esrei, you're not supposed to hold a pair of tefillin in your hands because you worry you might drop it. You space, which means thinking about the tefillin and thinking about davening don't go hand in hand. So here's the thing: the Rosh paskins, you know what it means? Hesech hadas, schoik v'kalas rosh. It means jesting, joking around. The Rosh says you're allowed to do business. The Rosh holds doing business if you're in a subdued mood, then it's fine for tefillin. It's not. You don't have to think about tefillin. It means to be in a subdued, a serious mindset. He says, the Rosh says no problem. He says because the fact is back in the day they wore tefillin all day and they were. No. It's not a contrary. It's a certain. We mean serious. A certain. Ivdu es Hashem b'yira, it says in Tehillim with it. But the pasuk ends off v'gilu bir'ada. You should exalt with your trembling.
So it's like a lightheartedness.
Right. What the Rosh is talking about it, yeah.
Flippant.
Yeah. Also to pay, yeah. He's talking. He didn't say simcha. Schoik v'kalos rosh. Some laughing at the latest stories, getting some good schmutz. Even if it's not lashon hara, but that runs counter to the kavan of tefillin. Sports, koching and sport. But the Rosh says other things are fine. That's the shit of the Rosh, and that's actually what most poskim go like. So it's actually, exactly. Unless it's Jewish jokes.
So are you supposed to be thinking about the tefillin or the name of Hashem?
No, you don't have to think about not the tefillin or the name of Hashem.
Right.
Business, you can think.
It means.
And I'm saying when you're adjusting to make sure. I mean, the whole point is.
The point is right. The point is to remember they're on you and remember there's a God right here and therefore stand appropriately.
Right.
But you're allowed to do business. Right. That's not.
Yeah.
There is a Ramban though who says that if an oval is so caught up in his pain, he has to take off his tefillin. So the Shagas Aryeh says this Ramban and the Rosh don't go hand in hand. The Rosh said what it boils down to is a serious state of mind. If someone's crying over a deceased loved one, right, they're in a very serious state of mind. Why the Ramban say take off your tefillin? That's not schoik and kalas rosh.
But then you're not thinking about Hashem or you're not thinking about...
And when you do business, why is it worse than doing business? So that's the Shagas Aryeh's big kash, and he seems to make a big debate out of this. Some explain, no, the Rosh would agree to the Ramban. Business is actually closer to tefillin than crying over a loved one because of Ivdu es Hashem b'simcha. When it comes to the Aruch HaShulchan writes, when it comes to a mitzvah, you need to feel a certain awe. The Eibush is in front of you. On the other hand, you got to be a rejoice as a yid. So if somebody's crying, that's the antithesis to tefillin, being that tefillin's a mitzvah, and the pain and tefillin can't go together. But someone's doing business and he does it in the correct manner and is focused, not a problem. So there's anyhow. So there's a big debate about that. But let's get back to our discussion over here. We seem to have a debate between Rambam and Tosfos if the Kal V'chomer is authentic or not. Now jump up to number 3 for a second. Number 3 is from the Sefas Emes, the great Gerer Rebbe, who I'll say a story that I heard from Rabenu Mangel. Although there's different versions of the story, I'll say I heard it from him.
He wrote the English of the...
Yeah. People get confused between him and your uncle. So they did similar jobs, similar names. It's almost like... So Rabenu Mangel says that when the Frierdiker Rebbe was younger, after he got married, somebody shot a bullet into the Rebbe's house, and it went right past the ear of the Frierdiker Rebbe's wife, Nechama. She was hard of hearing in one ear for the rest of her life. So the Rebbe Rashab told the Frierdiker Rebbe to get out of town. So he left. And he traveled far.
With the roof of the base of the Shiva.
So he came to, this story is he comes, he's in Poland or something, and he sits down in a base medrash. No one knows who he is, he doesn't know anyone. And he opens up, he's learning Choshen Mishpat, monetary law. The Sefas Emes was there. And the Sefas Emes walks in and he approaches the Frierdiker Rebbe, who was a young man, and he said, "This is good for your mind. But what are you learning for your soul?" So Frierdiker Rebbe asked, "What should I learn?" The Sefas Emes said, "Lekutei Torah Torah." From the Alter Rebbe, yeah. Bechlaus, there was a yeshiva that once asked the Frierdiker Rebbe, "We want to learn Chassidus, but we're not ready for Chassidus Chabad. It's not going to work. What other Chassidus should we learn?" He said, "Learn the Sefas Emes, because he has many ideas from the Alter Rebbe in there." So now that we said that, we can read what he says over here. Number 3, he has a problem with Tosfos. But Tosfos, it's on the Gemara in Yuma. But Tosfos Dibra Maschil Uma, the one we saw in number 5. And he quotes, Taimoli, Tosfos had a question, that Tefillin are mechup in earth, covered in skin. Yesh litmaya al tmiyosam. I don't get their question, he says. Who cares if it's covered or it's exposed? What's the difference? When it comes to bringing tefillin into a bathroom, we'll see about that in just a moment, that's where covered and exposed makes a difference. But for this, the kivan shenois shemola, that if you're carrying God's name, you have to be cognizant. When not to be distracted. Mali, who cares if it's open or closed? Who cares if it's begoli, if it's revealed or it's concealed? What difference? You have the name of Hashem on your head. Who cares? Exposed, covered. What's the difference? Where does Tosfos get that from? Now, what does this Sefas Emes mean that there is a difference concerning bringing it into a bathroom? He gets that from number 4. Number 4 is a Gemara in Shabbos Daf Samach Beis. V'Tanya, there's a bright. The Gemara is talking about amulets. The Gemara is discussing about wearing an amulet on Shabbos. Is it considered carrying, or are you wearing clothes? Is it a garment, an ornament? And the Gemara states that actually, if the amulet is foolproof and it's actually worked, then it can be considered an ornament. The problem is, if you wear it on Shabbos, the Gemara says you find an outhouse, a bathroom in the street, you're going to take it off. You end up carrying. So the Gemara says, no, you don't have to take it off. So the Gemara wants to know, why don't you have to take it off in the bathroom, the amulet? Is it because the amulet's not holy? Or is it because it's covered? So the Gemara says, because it's covered. Frek the Gemara, what? You ever brought your tefillin into the bathroom? V'Tanya, this is where we pick up a number 4. Hanichnas lebeis hakisei choylitz tefillin b'rocha karbamis. You go to the bathroom, you don't walk in with your tefillin. You take it off 4 amos away. It's covered, doesn't matter. So the Gemara says the amulet, I don't care if it's covered. Why are you allowed to take it into the bathroom? Maybe the amulet's not considered holy, even though it could have names of inside. So the Gemara says, no, you can't compare an amulet to tefillin. Tefillin hasa mishum shin. The tefillin has a shin on the outside. Really, amulets are holy, but because they're covered, they can go in the bathroom. Tefillin is not concealed, there's a shin. The Amar Abayah said, Shin shel tefillin halacha l'Moshe Sinai. Abayah said the shin of the tefillin halacha l'Moshe Sinai. The shin means that's the difference of the tefillin versus the the amulet. The Gemara continues, Amar Abaye, the dalet of tefillin in the back is also halacha l'Moshe Sinai. Amar Abaye, the yud of tefillin on the shel yad is halacha l'Moshe Sinai. Now Tosfos in number 5 says clearly not. Tosfos said only the shin. And the Gemara in number 4, Abaye says clearly the dalet and yud as well. So you should know.
When you're wearing, I don't know, when you're wearing it, when it's exposed, when it's in a case, does that make a difference when it's... It's all about wearing, you're wearing.
Only the case, if the case is there are if the case is meyuchid for the tefillin, then it's like it doesn't cover up.
Right.
And therefore the shin is still considered exposed. So we'll get to the Dalet Yud in a moment. But what the Sefas Emes is saying in number 3, he marshals this Gemara. He says, when it comes to taking something in the bathroom, there's a difference of exposed, open. That's what the Gemara, or if it's concealed, that's the Gemara differentiates between the amulet and the tefillin. But when it comes to having the name of Hashem in your forehead about not being distracted, frek the Sefas Emes, what's the difference, exposed or enclosed? What's the difference? So off the bat, you could say, well, maybe that's why the Rambam disagrees with Tosfos. The Rambam feels like the Sefas Emes. What's the difference that tefillin are encased?
Wait, how's the Tosfos go against the Gemara?
I'm going to get to that in a moment. That's a big thing. Get that in a moment. But for now, we're just seeing the Sefas Emes says, as far as not being distracted, there should be no difference if it's exposed or enclosed. There's another place we find that tefillin is different because it's enclosed, that by when you write a mezuzah, right, every line needs what's called sirtut. You need to make scratches like lined paper. You take a mezuzah, you'll see there's like every line a little scratch underneath.
Formatting.
Exactly. So the writing should be clear. It's halacha l'moira, halacha l'Moshe Sinai. Yes, if they're also. Tefillin doesn't have it. The Rambam says tefillin don't need it because they're covered. And everyone discusses what does that mean. The mezuzah is also wrapped up. No one's reading it every day. Sefer Torah you read, so you want it to be legible. So b'meila you want to have those lines. But who's reading the mezuzah? Like, what's the difference? That tefillin are covered. But that's another case where we find the difference. Since tefillin are covered, the Rambam says, and like no one has access even to the parchment, so they don't need to be. But so we find it over there. We find it in the Gemara number 4 about going into the bathroom. But the Sefas Emes says it really has no place in our discussion of not spacing out from the. You have the name of Hashem on your head. Who says if other people can't see it, they can't see it? So on the one, you could say maybe the Rambam learns like that. But then you want to know, so why was Tosfos was clearly bothered to the point that he never answered his question. Tosfos says Taka, the Kal V'chomer is not legit. So we still want to figure out what's this debate between Rambam and Tosfos. Now, as far as the question, Tosfos says only the shin is halacha l'Moshe Sinai, not the dalet and the yud. And if you look at number 4, in any standard Babylonian Talmud that we have today, it's a clear Gemara. Abaye said the shin, the dalet, and the yud. Tosfos says the last few lines are a mistake. Tosfos writes, B'chal, if it's all true, Abaye should have said one thing. Abaye should have said, why the 3 different statements? And Abaye said, Tosfos says, somebody added this in. It's not true. It's not true.
By the way, and the Abaye said.
It's funny, yeah.
Even the way it writes.
The way, Abaye,
How many times?
it's the only place.
That's just once, the whole Shas.
That this comes up in the Gemara. Oh no, the Tosfos attacks this issue.
No, tax that there's maybe extra words.
No, yeah, often, yeah. There's yeah. But here's big. Here's like officially removing, not replacing with anything else. Just saying these 2 lines are a mistake. It's like, how did they get added? Who added them? Why? Says Tosfos, I don't care. I'm not here to explain to you how it crept in the Gemara. I'm just telling you it doesn't belong there.
So which
By
are the
the
ones that don't belong?
the in number 4, the dud, yeah, only the shin, only the
shin.
shin. The dalet and yud don't belong because in fact in Gemara and Meseches, where is the source of the whole sugya here about tefillin, all the dinim of tefillin is discussed in Gemara and Meseches and the Lameds. There it brings Abaye's statement only about the shin. It doesn't bring the.
Technically, also you're allowed to wear your shal yad technically into the bathroom.
That's Tosfos. Tosfos therefore holds. Tosfos holds that since the Gemara number 4 said, why can't you wear tefillin in the bathroom because of the shin? And the Gemara marshaled because shin is halacha l'Moshe Sinai, and Tosfos holds that's where the Gemara ends. You're allowed to walk in with the shed. Tosfos holds you're allowed to walk in the bathroom shed. No, we don't. We don't. No, because Rashi throughout Shas holds the shin, the dalet, and the yud are all halacha
If
l'meishim
it's in a
sinai.
bag, like in your bag, then can you take it into the bathroom? So like if you go to the airport,
What
you've got
type?
it in
You wear in a backpack. So
Yeah.
that's different because the backpack is
Yes,
considered a keli.
It's
That's
only-
right.
right.
It's not miyuchad.
You
Yeah,
know what
yeah,
I'm saying? That would be the only time I would think.
yeah,
that-
yeah. So here's the thing.
Because
So
it's not miyuchad,
yeah, it's not miyuchad. It's there just while you're traveling, right? So it's a major debate between Rashi and Tosfos concerning tefillin. That Rashi holds the shin, the dalet, and the back of the shel rosh and the yud. It's all halacha l'meishim Sinai, whereas Tosfos holds only the shin. It's not just Rashi and Tosfos. It's a major debate in the Rishonim. The Rabenu Yonason of Lunel, one of the big Lunel is in Provence. He was a good friend of the Rambam, big supporter of the Rambam. So it was in the 1100s. Hakoyen, if I'm not mistaken, Hakoyen. I think it's Hakoyen, yeah.
Familiar.
Anyhow, so he a big supporter of the Rambam, and he writes. He says for sure all three are halacha l'meishim Sinai, and they're all biblical, right? If you don't have the yud of the daled, your tefillin is that tefillin is no good. However, and Rashi holds like that as well. Tosfos famously not here. Tosfos on the Gemara there in Shabbos. Tosfos in 4 or 5 places is very clear that it's only the shin. And the Rashba, the Ran, they all quote, everyone knew Tosfos holds it's only the shin, only the shin. In fact, we'll see it's even more than just to look at number 7. Number 7 is a comment of the Beis Yosef on the Tur. Okay? The Tur in the laws of Tefillin said, in number 7, the bold letters on top is a quote from the Tur, and the faint letters underneath is Beis Yosef's commentary. Says the Tur, Yase Kesher Cotton, you make a small knot in the back of the Shel Rosh, on the shel yad, Ketsura Su looking like a yud, Lahashlim Oisiyat Shel Shin Daled Yud, to get the full name, together with the shin which is on the bottom of the shel rosh, and the dalas in the back of the shel rosh, plus the yud gets the shin daled yud. Says the Beis Yosef, Kain Pirush Rashi. Rashi says this in Hakomitz, that's in Meseches. Aha darminon kesher shel tefillin lachal meishim Sinai. The Gemara there, I think it's Rav, has a statement, the kesher of tefillin is halacha l'meishim Sinai. Rashi learns it means the dalet in the back of the shel rosh and the yud on the shel yad. It's all halacha l'meishim Sinai. Just like we saw in the Gemara number 4, in the printed editions, Aryeh said all 3 halacha l'meishim Sinai. But says the Beis Yosef in number 7, Afapi, you should know that Tosfos over there in Meseches, plus the Rosh, plus the Mordechai, plus the Smag, these are all Ashkenazi Rishonim. The Rosh and the Mordechai, both students of the Maram of Rottenburg. The Mordechai was a Kohen, by the way. And Kosvu, they write, no, the nearer the dalas for Yud Shebet film, the dalat of the Rosh and the Yud of the hand, lav oisius gemuris, and are not real oisius. It's not halacha mishmar Sinai. V'loy chashivim oisius Hashem, they're not part of, there is no shin dalat Yud, biblically. But Sasam Rabben and Dvarav Kedivrei Rashi, but the Tur, who says matter of fact, is going like Rashi. So Rashi with the Tur, I said Rabbi Yonason of Lunel, the Meiri also lived in Provence, in Perpignan. They all go with the fact that the whole shin, the Yereim, all hold the shin daled yud is full halacha l'meishim Sinai. Tosfos, and now we see the Rosh, the Mordechai, the Smag, all say no. The daled and yud was a later conception of the Chachamim. Really, you just need the shin. Okay. So if you hold like Rashi and like the Tur that the whole shin dal yud is biblical, so at least one of Tosfos' questions fall off, right? The Tosfos' question is that Tzitz has the name on the outside, Tefillin is covered. Tefillin also has the Eibish's name. Says Tosfos, no, the shin really is a standalone thing. Biblically, it's all you need. You don't need the dalet and the yud. Well, according to some Rishonim, you do. And it all depends on the Gemara number 4, if you have the version that Aryeh said that all 3 halacha Sinai or not. Okay. But either way, Tosfos' second problem will still exist. Even if you're going to have the shin daled yud, it's not the same as the yud kei vav kei.
Yeah.
Right? It's not the same.
Because
So
the shin is only on the besides the dalet is the only one on the head. You're moving to an arm and a head.
okay, but even if we will manage to put them together,
right.
Tosfos' second question will still be, you still fall short. Right, you still fall short.
Shin daled yud considered a kinui or it's mamash? Let's say in terms of getting rid of it or something.
Right, it's a holy name. It's a holy name. There's a let's see. Look at number 8. Number 8 is a comment of the Elya Rabba. The Elya Rabba was Elya Shapiro, passed away a little over 300 years ago. So 350 years ago, he was a big Rav, and he wrote his commentary on the Levush. The Levush also seems to say that the whole Shin Dalad Yud is all halacha l'Moshe Missinai. The Alter Rebbe as well. The Alter Rebbe writes it's all halacha l'Moshe Missinai. Like Rashi. But it's okay. I have a whole theory. That doesn't mean it's Mamish Alter Rebbe's personal opinion. But either way, let's not go there. Number 8. We know that on the Tefillin Shel Rosh there's 2 shins. There's a shin on the left and a shin on the right.
3 heads.
And one of them has 3 heads, and one of them has 4 heads. The source of this is found in the Sefer Sheamar Rabba. Sheamar Rabba is a work on laws of Tefillin written about 1,300 years ago. Exactly who wrote it is a big shaila. Some say it was Rav Sar Sholem Goin, one of the Goinim in the 800s. Some say maybe it's someone else a little bit earlier. It's a very authoritative work on the laws of Tefillin. And it says in the Sheamar Rabba that you want to have the shin of the 4 heads and the shin of the 3 heads, one on each side. Now, which side? So, v'shel small hameniach. On the left side, you have the 4. On the left side of you wearing it, you have the 4. On the right side, you have the 3. Now, why why are there 2 shins? 1 4, 1 3. What's this all about? So some wanted to say the Megal Amukas brings, and also earlier, that it represents the 3 Avos, the 4 Emos. There's a statement of the Zohar that there are 7 branches in the menorah, right? And there are 7 spheres. 7 is the completion of everything. So you want the 7 branches of the shin, the 3 on one side, the 4 on the other, represent the 7 branches of the menorah. All types of theories.
I heard another one.
Yeah.
The 3 protrude.
Right. So that's good. So that's the base Yosef brings from an old manuscript. The different like this. When Hashem gave Moshe the Torah, He gave him 2 things. He gave him the luchos which were engraved. He also gave Moshe all the knowledge that Moshe should write ink on parchment. Ink on parchment protrudes. The luchos were engraved. If you want to engrave a shin, you need to have 4 walls. Right, 4 defanas, 4 walls. So the 4-headed shin represents the engraved 3-headed shin. And since the Tefillin B'chlal are Keser Torah, the crown of Torah, so you want to represent the 2 elements of Torah, so you have both shins. By the way, the Marsha says this is the true reason of Rabba Bar Avunu's Kal V'chomer. You know why Tefillin are better than the Tzitz? Because the Tzitz is the crown of the Kohen, right? It's Keser Kahuna. Tefillin is Keser Torah, the crown of Torah. As great as the crown of Kahuna is, the crown of Torah supersedes. The Kohen Gadol used to wear both. He's to wear both. Fine. But between one and the other, the crown of Torah is greater than the crown of Kahuna. So the Marsha says that's what Rabba. That's the true meaning of the Kal V'chomer. Tefillin are greater because they represent the crown of Torah. But either way, he holds like Tosfos. The whole Tefillin, the whole Tzitz is the name's on the outside. You can't compare the Tzitz to Tefillin. Anyhow, so the Tefillin is the crown of Torah. So you want to have the 4-legged shin and the 3-legged shin. But why are they specifically on those sides? Why is it on your left you have the 4-legged shin, and on the right you have the 3? So he says, so the Elya Rabba quotes, well, let's read number 8. V'shel small hameniach, on the left of the meniach you have the 4-legged shin.
4-headed shin.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Give it covered.
Shuhu yamin shel hakoyre, oimid lanegda. Your left is the right of the person corresponding to you. Imagine the Eibush standing across from you. Your left is his right. HaKadosh Baruch Hu HaKoyre. The Eibush is in front of you, reading the Tefillin. Shenemar Shevisi Hashem L'neged, God's in front of me. Lachen, therefore, Hashin Shel Haluchas Liyaminoi. You want the shin of the luchos, right, to be on the right of God.
Engraved.
The engraved shin to be on the right of Hashem. Now Hashem's looking towards you. So his right means your left. Shenemar miminoi eish taslam. It says about the luchas that the Eibishter gave it from his right hand. So when the Eibishter is looking at you, he wants to see from his right, your left, the four-headed shin, which is the way he gave it. The Amar Abaye, shin shel tfin alach l'Moshe Sinai, v'loy Amar shinin. Again, Abaye said a statement. I told you in Meseches Shabbos it says Abaye said about the shin and the dalet and the yud. In Meseches it only brings about the shin. But he wants to know, why don't we say shinin? Why don't we say both of them? Apparently it's halacha l'Moshe Sinai, both shins. So why didn't Abaye say shinin? The dalet and the yud will leave that, the Rishonim can break their heads. But if both shins, so why didn't he say shinin? He says, Lefisha Amar Kodesh Baruch Hu Moshe, because Hashem told Moshe, Hashem didn't want to put the two shins together. They're very different. They serve a different purpose. He said, Shin Shani Kaisev Lecha, the shin that I wrote to you, the engraved one, Simli Minecha means to my right, on your left. Then he says, Tam Acher, another pshat, Lefisha Amar Kodesh Baruch Hu. Okay, this is a little bit of a hard read. I don't know. Shin shel haluchas, the shin of the luchas, tosim liyaminoi, put it on God's right.
So that's engraved.
That's the engraved ones on your left, which is the four-headed. Upsoil lucha, Hashem told Moshe about when he made the new luchas, etch them out. Psoilis shel oisa shin sim luminecha. The psoilis, when you etch out, I guess when you etch out a shin in the luchas, right? Right, you're left with the remainder is basically the walls. When you take out, when you etch out, what?
The material. You mean.
Right. Yeah. No, so you take out the material. No. What remains is the leftover rock. Is a four.
If you take out the four.
No. You take out the three.
Then you said you take out the four.
No. You take out the three. You have an engraved three shin. What do you have left? You have left the four. The four remains in the rock. Right. So that should be on the right-hand side. This is what they showed me from heaven. If you try and become pure, God will help you. It says, the secrets of God to those that fear. Now, who wrote this? Baruch Sheamar. The Elya Rabba is quoting this from the Baruch Sheamar. Who is the Baruch Sheamar? His name was Reb Shimshon ben Eliezer, mysterious figure in the mid-1300s. I have in number 11 that he wrote about himself. In number 11, he says, my name is Shimshon, Hamachuna, I'm nicknamed Baruch Sheamar. That's my nickname. Why? He says, Avi v'imi, my father and mother, Heviu Oisi, brought me and my sisters, Me'eretz Susnia, Shekor in Zaksan, it's a place in Germany. That's Eretz Molad, where I was born. I was taken to Prague, Hakahil in Prague. V'sham halchu kulam leilam. There, everyone passed away. My father, my mother, my sisters. Nisharti ani levadi. I was alone, 8-year-old orphan.
What year was this?
In the mid-1300s. Oz hidrichani Hashem ben Sefas. The Eibishter led me in his footsteps. Kedin avi, as a father of orphans. And I got up every single morning. Bashkama lebeis. I used to get up very early and go to the shul in Prague. And I would say Baruch Sheamar with the beautiful voice that Hashem gave me. So people gave me the nickname Baruch Sheamar. He was the Baruch Sheamar kid. Nebuchadnezzar, the orphan that beautifully sang Baruch Sheamar. He's known as the Baruch Sheamar. Now he was
a more recent sefer by Baruch Epstein called Baruch.
Yeah, okay, right. So here's what Baruch Sheamar. It's actually a bit. There was an earlier sefer called Tikkun Tefillin. It was written by a guy to Bavram from some city in Germany. Laws of how to make tefillin. And this Reb Shimshon, the Baruch Sheamar, wrote footnotes on it. And later it became unclear the difference of the two authors. The whole book became known as the Baruch Sheamar. Anyhow, he himself had a student, Reb Yomtov Milhausen. We once quoted him. He wrote on the shir about Adam living with the animals. We found an old manuscript from Prague, from Yomtov Milhausen, who had big debate between him and the Christians. And the Christians, by every debate, would say, how could the rabbi say Adam cohabited with the animals? Right now, would they pull it out? And he was the first one that says it doesn't mean Adam lived with them. He contemplated them, etc. Anyhow, so that Reb Yom Tov Milhausen, who was a big scholar Bechlal, he was also a Kabbalist, and he was the main student of this Baruch Sheamar. And he also wrote a sefer about Tefillin called Alpha Besa, all about the letters, the actual formation and what they represent. Anyhow, so this Baruch Sheamar guy was part of he's a big player in laws of Tefillin. And in number 8, the Elya Rabba is quoting from him the reason why you want to have the 4. The fact that there's a 3-headed shin and a 4-headed shin, there's all these reasons. But even once you say it's representing the 2 types of Torah, so why is one on the left, one on the right? So he says, this is what they told me from heaven, because the Eibishter appears, he stands in front of you, he reads the Tefillin. He gave the luchas from his right hand, so he wants to see the 4-headed tefillin, which represents the etched out shin, from his right. Anyhow, it's an interesting thing. So you have these 2 shins are very important. The fact you need 2 shins for halacha l'Moshe Sinai, the fact that one has to be 4 or 3, that don't know if the halacha l'Moshe Sinai. That we know in the Sefer Shemusha Rabba. Tosfos actually writes clearly, based on the Shemusha Rabba, if you mix up the 4 and the 3 on the other side, it's okay. But if they're both 4 or both 3, it's puzzle. You need to have 1 4 and 1 3. So that's as far as the shin. So if I were to ask you why exactly is there a shin on the tefillin, so maybe before the shir you would have said, well, one reason you could say is you need the shin and the dalet and the yud to make the shakai, to make the shin dalet yud. Well, that works according to Rashi and the Torah, that all 3 were told to Moshe and Har Sinai. According to Tosfos, the Rosh, the Mordechai, never happened. It's only the shin. Hashem, dalet and yud was a later invention. So then why did God say to make the shin? According to Tosfos, I don't know if that's enough reason to have the shin, because you don't even have to say the Shema in Tefillin. You don't have to say it in Tefillin. So we say if you say Shema without Tefillin, it's like giving false testimony, because you're saying Hashem said. But if you say Shema and you put on Tefillin right away after, it's also okay. So you don't have to actually say it in the Tefillin.
It doesn't maybe represent the Shema that's
but you don't,
inside.
the Shema that's inside. But there's 4 parshas inside. Shema is only one of the 4.
Right, but wouldn't we say that's the most, like the
But
most
why?
crucial?
I don't know. Do we need a representation of what it says inside? Okay. That might be something else you may say. But the question still begs, is there anything... You see, according to Rashi, I know why there's a shin. There's a shin, dalet, and yud. But according to Tosfos, what's the shin for?
What do you mean? You don't,
No, but is there a reason?
but
Well,
why
no,
the
so we're
shin
giving
not
a
the
reason
Yud
because
Kei
so we said, we said that Tefillin is Keser Torah, and Torah was given in 2 forms to represent... Well, that's what you quoted. That's from the Beis Yosef already, not on the paper, but the Tefillin is the crown of Torah. Torah was given in 2 forms, engraved and written, so to represent that we want... It happens to be that concerning the big debate, if only the shin is Lacham Meshum Sena, also the dalet and the yud, there's actually a 3rd opinion. Look at number 9. I mentioned this story Thursday night. Rabenu Tam and Shmuel Hanavi, the father of Yehuda HaChosid, had a big debate with Holy Moses. Moshe Rabenu says that every day you need to take the shel Rosh and undo the kesher and tighten it. Rabbeinu Tam says no, only on the shel yad. Rabbeinu Tam says ukshartum la'oisal yodecha, you tie that, and then tetafes beinenecha. So Moshe Rabbeinu said it's not how you read the pasuk. He says you read it ukshartum la'ois. The tefillin, which is an ois, which is the head tefillin, that you tie. Al yodecha. When do you have the thing on the head? When you have the thing, only after that, right? So Moshe Rabbeinu continues in number 9. Va'oid, Moshe tells Rabbeinu Tam, L'dvorecha, you're telling me that the kesher you have to play with every day is the shel yad. I never heard of that. God never told me anything about having a yud over there. Ata oimer, the kshira is in the shel yad by the yud. Loy tzivesi loylim, I never said that. Loylim, I never taught that. Chachamim u'mesaken oisa b'svarosam. This sounds very much like Tosfos. Lahashlim shem shin dalad yud. It's an invention of the Chachamim.
Moshe is saying this.
Yeah, Moshe is saying it's to Rabbeinu Tam, right?
Yeah.
It's
That's where Tosfos got it from. They got it from Moshe.
Well, Rabbeinu Tam never buckled down. He said, Moshe, you're wrong. Anyhow. So Moshe here has a big chap. Moshe says, you ever wondered, Moshe says like this, why is the Yud over here and the Shin and Dalet over here? Moshe says, I was told about the Shin and the Dalet, not the Yud. A third option. The Shin and the Dalet are Lachem, not the Yud. He says, "Ubeshvil kach lo rotu lasoyse Barush." Why did Chacham could have found the Yud? They could have put a Yud. They could have come up with something. Why did they put in that Yad? Shelo yitul, people shouldn't make a mistake to say shetzivisim kach, that this is the original command, and it's not, because eino mitzarefes, it does not join with the Shin and the Dalet. Moshe says the Shin and the Dalet are Lachem Moshe Sinai, and that Dalet is what has to be played with every day. The Yud on the hand is B'chala later enactment. Rabbeinu Tam didn't back down. Bar Rabbeinu Elya mi Parish, he came to help Moshe Rabbeinu olav shalom. And Mesadrim Ba'alocha zeh lo zeh, they were Mevi'in riots. Rabbeinu Tam would respond. Rabbeinu Tam did not buckle down. He took Moshe, he said, you're a great man, but my opinion counts just like yours. Rabbi Yankov Purainsi was there as well. He asked the Novi, which is Shmuel HaNovi, Sheyishal al mi lismoich. He should find out who he paskin like. Right. So Moshe Rabbeinu responded, Loi matzana b'chol ha'torah shetzarech lasos yud. Who yud? What yud? No yud. The yud's are later invention of Chachamim. But if you do it, Moshe says Rabbeinu Tam is a good guy. Lismam shas hadchak. Okay. Rabbeinu Tam still in, Moshe says Rabbeinu Tam still an opinion. But mitzvah min amuvcha says Moshe, you want to know what the best thing is? Likshur kol ha'kesher b'rosh. To make the knot in the head. L'marcha the next day, Rab Shmuel HaNovi, this is Rabbi Yehuda Chaz's father, asked Moshe ben Shalom, Hayud mishaka mipnei ma lo nichtav v'mashin. Shmuel HaNovi Taka asked Moshe why. Why the Shin and the Dalet? Yeah, why not the Yud? Like, that's random. So Moshe said, incredible. Rashi, this week's parsha. Hashem showed Moshe his head tefillin. He never saw Hashem's hands tefillin. Moshe said, I saw God from behind. I saw the Shin and the Dalet in his head tefillin. The Yud on his hand I never saw, so I never taught it. So here's a third option. The Shin and the Dalet, yeah, not the Yud, not the Yud. It's fascinating, because in the Poskim you don't find this. You either find Tosfos, the Rosh, Mordechai, it's just the Shin, and then you find Rashi, the Tur, and it's Shin, Dalet, Yud. But the Shin and the Dalet, and not the Yud, what's the logic? Moshe explained. That's what he saw. You know what it means, Halacha Moshe Sinai? He saw God on Har Sinai wearing it. Some things Hashem told Moshe verbally, some things Hashem showed him. That's how Moshe received it, because he actually saw it. He never saw the Yud. Anyhow, so I'll upon him though.
Isn't this the strongest? Moshe is saying that Allah Moshe Sinai is Shin and Dalet.
This is from the Sefer Seder Hadoros. It was written 300 years ago.
Who wrote it?
Rabbi Yechiel Halpern. Wait, hold up. Because this is a great story. The question is where it's exactly recorded from, and you see that none of the Rishonim were aware of this. I didn't see any Rishon saying this idea, the Shin Dalet, not the Yud. It's either.
Who's the people that were there? Rabbi Yaakov. Rabbeinu Tam though didn't buy it.
But wasn't
Yehuda Chassid's father was Elya of Paris.
Did any of these people write about it?
In their own writings, yeah.
Rabbeinu Elya of Paris was involved in the debate. He argued with Rabbeinu Tam.
Yeah, so did he write
No, but then Tosfos quotes a debate between Rabbeinu Tam and this Rabbeinu Elya. The debate is quoted not about the Shin Dalet Yud, about if every day you need to play with the Kesher and the Rosh.
So they held L'shitasa in that Tosfos.
But I don't think that Tosfos mentions anything about the difference of the Dalet or the Yud, that the Dalet is Halacha Moshe Sinai, but not the Yud. No, not that details in the story, not in Tosfos. Anyhow, but hold on, I want to answer everything like this. So again, if I would ask you, why is there a Shin on the Tefillin? So you would say, according to Rashi in the Tur, it makes the Shin Dalet Yud. It's a good reason. According to all the other Rishonim, the Dalet Yud came later. So why did God tell Moshe the Shin? So you'll say, well, maybe the Shin is Shema, or the Shin represents Keser Torah. The Tefillin is Torah, so representing the two types of Torah. There's another whole reason completely. Number 10. Rabbi Yosef Kaida quotes, Kosav Hari Askandari. Askandarni.
Darni.
Thank you.
Darni.
You know Atbash? You take the letters of Aleph Beis, the Aleph, the Taf, Yud K Vav K becomes the Havaya Ba'at Bash Oil Shin V'hainu Matzpatz. The Yud becomes a Mem, the Hey becomes a Tzadik, the Vav is a Pei, the Hey is a Tzadik. If you flip, it's Matzpatz. Matzpatz is Gematria 300. The Shin says this Ri Askandarni, the Shin is the Yud K Vav K. The Yud K Vav K is the Shin. If you do At Bash K Vav K, and they add the letters together, you get a Shin. Oh, hold on. No, it's a bit of a stretch. Hold on. There's the pasuk says that the goyim will see the name of Hashem on you, and they will be afraid. Rabbi Eliezer Hagadol Omer, it's everywhere in Gemara. It's the Tefillin Shebarosh. Why Tefillin Shebarosh? Rashi learns in Meseches, what name of Hashem do the goyim see? It's the Shin Dalad Yud. The Shin, the Dalad, the Yud. So Rashi wants to know, so why did Rabbi Eliezer say Tefillin Shebarosh? You need the hand as well. Since most of the name is on the Rosh. Tosfos everywhere disagrees with Rashi, because Tosfos holds when Yeshaya said that pasuk, there was no Dalad and Yud, it was the Shin. So where's the name of Hashem? Where's the name of Hashem? Says the Ri Askandani, it's the Shin. When it says Kishem Hashem Nikra Alecha, it's the Shin. She'ei nir mibachutz ela hashin. It's the shin which are seen from the outside. The shin itself, it's not the dalad or the yud.
Right.
What?
It's coded.
But
Right.
even more so, then it's unlikely that the goy will know that's the name of Hashem. So.
The guy. Now that the shir is being recorded, the guy will all find out. They'll all find out. They will all hear. So here's the.
So it matches up to the tzitz.
So the word is, it's incredible because like Rashi says, the name of Hashem on you is the Shin Dalad Yud. So why do we mention the Shorosh? Because it's most of the name. A whole new pshat over here. It's just the Shin itself. It's just the Shin itself. By the Alter Rebbe was once asked that Goyim once saw the Alter Rebbe wearing tefillin and they were so afraid. Someone asked Alter Rebbe, I wear tefillin too, and the Goyim aren't afraid. So Alter Rebbe said, Rabbi Eliezer says these are tefillin. He doesn't say al harosh, burosh in the head. If your tefillin are just sitting on top of your head, it won't affect the goyim. If you internalize it in your mind, that's right. Anyhow, so the verse like this, that philosophically, it's pretty obvious too. No. Knowledge means revelation. When something is known, it's revealed. Like a secret is not known. When something is known, it's considered revealed. And when something's revealed, it's considered known. So here's the thing. Tosfos wants to know that Tzitz, the name of Hashem, is exposed. The very fact it's exposed means it needs to be in the open. And for you, it means to be aware, to have knowledge of it, to have knowledge of it. Tosfos is asking about tefillin, which in essence are the names of Hashem are concealed. Doesn't that represent that you don't need to have knowledge? It's something which is concealed. Knowing is to bring something to the forefront. That's revelation. Tefillin are in essence concealed. Right? The Sefas Emes says, I didn't get what Tosfos is on about. What's the difference, concealed or revealed? So I want to say, no, if the tefillin, the way they're made, their whole identity is concealing the name of Hashem, so then you don't have to be aware of it. Being aware of something, cognizant, is revelation. But if in essence it's meant to be concealed, then it can be in the back of your mind as well. It doesn't have to be in the forefront. That's Tosfos' opinion. Because according to Tosfos, the names are completely concealed. The shin here, what's the shin? The Dalad and Yud aren't halacha l'Moshe Sinai. But the Rambam will go like the Ri Askandarni. The shin itself represents the Yud Kei Vav Kei through Atbash. Now, it's only a hint. It's only a hint on the Yud Kei Vav Kei. But what does that mean? The fact that the shin is representing the Yud Kei Vav Kei, which is concealed inside of it, is trying to tell you that all of the Yud Kei Vav Kei is concealed inside these parshas, the 42 of them. I want them to be brought to the forefront. I'm exposing them, which means you need to be aware of them. You need to be aware of it. That is, the fact that the shin represents the kevavke through atbash means the shin is trying to expose what's inside, is teaching you a message. That all the 42 names of Yud Kei Vav Kei inside need to be exposed. They're being exposed through the shin. So it's telling you that don't think because they're concealed you don't have to be aware of it. No. They're being exposed over here. And therefore the Sefas Emes' argument will come. Then once they're on the head, they're not as exposed as the tzitz. Doesn't matter. What's the difference? The whole argument of Tosfos is if tefillin are be'etzim concealed, then you could say, well, let's leave it I can leave it in the back of my mind. But the moment the shin comes and says, no, these ideas need to be exposed, so even though it's not as exposed as the tzitz, the Sefas Emes' argument will kick in. What's the difference? No longer can you argue it's a concealed thing. No, it's meant to be out in the open. And since they're on your head, you have to be aware of it. So I'm using the Sefas Emes to explain Rambam versus Tosfos. Tosfos says the shin doesn't represent the Yud Kei Vav Kei. It's whatever it's there for, but all the names of Hashem are on the inside. So tefillin are be'etzem concealing the name of Hashem. That means you don't have to be aware of it. The idea is concealed, is hidden. But the Rambam says no, the shin is revealing and exposing, representing the Yud Kei Vav Kei within itself because of the atbash. It's sending you a message that all the Yud Kei's, Vav Kei's in the Tefillin, the 42 names in the parshas of here and over here, they can't be forgotten about. They're being exposed through the shin, which means you have to be aware of it because they're on your head. Like the Sefas Emes says, what's the difference on your hand, on your head? That's the argument, Taka. The only thing you could counter is, well, if they're be'etzim concealed, then I don't have to be aware. But once there's a shin, which represents Yud Kei Vav Kei, then they're not be'etzim concealed. It's like exposing, it's bringing it out to the open.
Even though the shin itself, this way, is also be sold at bash.
At bash. Right, no, but it's telling you that the Yud Kei Vav Kei that's deep inside here is revealed through the shin. That means the Yud Kei Vav Kei is physically deep inside the tefillin. They need to be exposed as well, which means you have to be aware of it. Awareness and revelation are the same thing. Anyhow, that's today's offering.
Revealed but concealed.
Well, that's our avodah. We have to take it from here, and we have to